Welcome to this explainer. Today we're looking at a story of just incredible endurance. We aren't just looking at a dot on a map here, we're going to examine London as a living, breathing, and remarkably resilient character. This is a city that has survived over 2,000 years of relentless trials, from devastating fires to outright wartime destruction, only to constantly rebuild itself into the dynamic, modern powerhouse capital we know today.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to trace this city's continuous cycle of destruction and rebirth through 5 main chapters. 1. The Roman foundation. 2. The medieval era. 3. The Industrial Revolution. 4. The Blitz and rebuilding. And finally, 5. The modern metropolis.
2,000. Just think about that number for a second. That is the immense scale of the history we're exploring today. We're talking about over 2 millennia of unyielding survival and continuous innovation. Honestly, very few places on Earth can boast this kind of unbroken narrative, constantly rising, falling, and then rising right back up again.
So to make sense of this massive sweep of time, we've got a little visual roadmap for us. And these aren't just dates, right? They represent absolute monumental shifts in human history. We start way back in the ancient world of 43 AD with the Roman foundation. Then take a huge leap across a millennium to 1066 and the Norman conquest. From there, we push forward into the exploding, smoke-filled growth of the 19th century Industrial Revolution, and finally face the ultimate test during the 1940s with the Blitz.
Section 1. The Roman Foundation. Birth of Londinium.
Let's travel all the way back to the year 43 AD to look at the city's earliest days. Now, Roman engineers didn't just pick a spot on a map at random. No way! They chose the banks of the River Thames very specifically because, well, at this exact point, the river was actually narrow enough to build a bridge across. And this physical geography? It was absolutely everything. By bridging the Thames, they created a vital crossing that directly connected Britain with major European trade routes. Total game changer.
But as you might guess, things did not stay peaceful for long. Early Londinium suffered a near-fatal blow during an uprising led by the Celtic queen Boudica. And this wasn't just some minor skirmish, this was a devastating rebellion that resulted in the complete and total destruction of that very first settlement, literally burned to the ground. Yet, and this is crucial, true to what would become the city's defining characteristic, the Romans quickly rebuilt it. The settlement just kept growing. This right here really establishes the absolute core theme of London, unbreakable resilience.
Section 2. The Medieval Era. Fortresses and Commerce.
Fast forwarding a bit to the year 1066, we hit a defining moment that permanently reshaped the city's physical and political landscape. The Norman conquest begins, and William the Conqueror takes control. And this brilliantly illustrates how architecture was used to just completely cement political power. To strengthen his grip on the newly conquered population, William built the Tower of London. I mean, imagine how intimidating it must have been for the locals to see this massive, looming stone fortress rising up above their little timber homes, looking down over the whole city as this permanent, inescapable symbol of royal authority. But right around this imposing fortress, daily life was incredibly vibrant. Picture this. You're navigating these incredibly narrow, winding streets that are just packed tightly with timber-framed houses. The air is loud with these thriving, chaotic marketplaces, and you've got powerful merchant guilds beginning to take absolute control of trade. Commerce wasn't just something happening in the background. It was literally becoming the lifeblood of the entire city.
Section 3. The Industrial Revolution, an empire's heart.
Leaping forward into the 19th century, rapid industrialization caused London to absolutely balloon into the largest city in the world. But this era was really defined by a stark, striking contrast. On the one hand, you have this awe-inspiring economic growth giving us true engineering marvels. I'm talking the world's first underground railway and iconic landmarks like Big Ben and the Palace of Westminster. Yet, this progress came at a really steep human cost. Just streets away from those monuments, everyday citizens are facing severely overcrowded slums, choking pollution, and honestly just grueling living conditions.
But here's the thing. Despite those incredibly grim realities of pollution and overcrowding, the city's spirit remained fiercely unbroken. As our source material states perfectly, London remained at the forefront of innovation, commerce, and global influence. It was this massive engine of unparalleled global progress that simply could not be slowed down no matter what.
Section 4. The Blitz and Rebuilding. The Ultimate Test.
Moving into the 20th century, the city faced its most catastrophic physical challenge since Queen Boudica burned that original settlement to the ground. During the Second World War, sustained bombing campaigns, which we know as the Blitz, just rained down, turning so much of the city into pure rubble. So the crucial point is, the citizens absolutely refused to abandon their home. This massive devastation was met with fierce, determined reconstruction. And actually, this destruction ultimately served as a catalyst that forced the city to modernize, emerging from the ashes even stronger than it was before.
Section 5. The Modern Metropolis. Past meets Future.
So we've arrived in the present day to look at the culmination of these 2,000 years of relentless, unyielding evolution. Today, London is this vibrant, deeply multicultural metropolis. It's a global powerhouse, a recognized leader in finance, education, and the arts. But you know what makes it so utterly unique? It's exactly what we've been tracking this whole time. It is a completely seamless blend of a rich historical legacy resting perfectly alongside cutting-edge modern culture.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the visual contrast. It is unlike anywhere else in the world. You can literally find ancient Roman ruins resting comfortably right in the shadow of ultra-modern glass skyscrapers. The city's ancient history physically intersects with its modern skyline in a way that just continues to inspire the millions of residents and visitors who see it every single day.
And the best part is, you can actually experience these layers of history for yourself. For those wanting to connect directly with this legacy, historical walking tours offer a really immersive journey. You can walk the very streets we've discussed today to uncover iconic landmarks and even trace specific historical connections, including some really fascinating ties to American history. It is, without a doubt, the most direct way to physically feel the 2,000 years of history that shaped this incredible city.
So I want to leave you all with this final thought. When you think about the fires, the plagues, the bombings, and the relentless marching of time, as you walk through this incredible modern metropolis, how much of that ancient, resilient city still lives and breathes directly beneath your feet today? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this sparks your curiosity to look just a little closer at the ground you walk on.